Hey, what's up, guys? Sean Realty here. So today I'm gonna just briefly touch on the NAR, National Association of Realtors, and they're getting sued. Basically, it's in my opinion, it's a tech company suing the current status quo real estate transaction system in order to basically shake things up, which may be a good thing or maybe a bad thing, or it could be both. And I'll just quickly share what's going on in the video here. Oops. Oh, I'm having some technical issue here. But basically, they're going after big brokerages and NAR. And basic thing is that they're saying, the plaintiffs are saying, the NAR and realtors and big companies, they basically did a collusionary sort of like inflating the real estate price. And these 260,000 homeowners in Missouri and Illinois paid unfair amount in commission. And I believe they're trying to make it illegal to pay the buyer's agents. So basically, because the current system, as you know, is that when buyers make an offer, that purchase price includes the seller's proceeds and the seller's agent fee and buyer's agent fee. And they're trying to take away the buyer's agent fee, which then can bring in a bunch of different problems. I could see if the buyer's representation, buyer's agent is not doing the work, I could see in a couple of decades, a bunch of buyers making a class action lawsuit like this by saying, I bought a property without a representation, without a buyer's agent, and the seller and seller's agent, they overpriced, they overcharged, they did unfair treatment, unfair transaction process. I'm going to sue you. That's what I see. That's kind of in a nutshell, because this lawsuit is very seller-centric lawsuit, very lopsided. Is it all wrong? I don't think so. There's some right things in this lawsuit too, but ultimately it's very seller-centric one. So let's see. One thing to note is that it's going to take like a couple of years to settle this, I think, or see a outcome of this lawsuit. And if me as a realtor, I'm licensed realtor in Oregon, so I'll share my point of view based on my experience and everything. First of all, if I'm defending the NAR and the big brokerages, I'm going to actually bring in those buyers, 260,000 buyers, and ask them and have them testify. Do you think your buyers agents should not have been paid? Would you have bought that property without your buyer's agent? That would be a more direct question. Or do you think your buyer's agent got overpaid? They didn't bring any value. I mean, those are some of the questions I would ask, because right now everything's based on the seller's point of view. Of course, sellers want to make more money. They want to have a higher price, which is kind of like similar to inflating the price, because they want to make more money. I mean, who wouldn't? What kind of sellers would say, hey, this is the fair market value and I'm not going to ask for more than this? What kind of seller is that? Do you have that kind of seller? Maybe. But 99.9% of the sellers want to make more money. On the flip side of it, more buyers would not pay. If they can help it, they will pay less. That's what's called the free market. And that's how it's been working for the last so many decades, as far as I know. I've been selling for 15 years. And yeah, so those are some of the questions. And if this law becomes this new system of making paying buyer's agents illegal, there has to be a couple of things that that will happen. So buyers buy a home without their buyer's agent. So the buyers will have to believe everything that the seller and listing agent will say or share with them. And the buyers have to know a lot more about protecting themselves by the home value, how to negotiate it with the repairs, what kind of time frame that they get, the buyer's rights on the property disclosure form or repair negotiation period, knowing the repair cost in general, how to negotiate that. Buyers will have to equip with so much more information. They'll have to go to like a buyer's boot camp in order to have that knowledge so that they can protect themselves. And right now, there's something called the FISBO, for sale by owners, who basically don't hire listing agent, and they can just market it themselves. All the FISBO listings that I've seen, there are a couple issues. The first one is they overprice because sellers want more money, and there's no listing agent saying, hey, you should list at this price. So there's no like a market checking person. So the seller is going to overprice the for sale by owner homes, first of all. And they don't do professional photos or videos or marketing pieces because they want to save money. I mean, that's their whole goal of doing for sale by owner, right? And then on top of that, the buyers are going to think that, oh, because there's no agents involved, I can maybe make a lower offer. So as far as I know, the for sale by owners, they don't do as well as hiring a listing agent, because with these three reasons, they're going to sit on the market. When you lose the momentum of the market first few weeks, you are going to lose some money compared to hiring a listing agent and do it the right way in the first place. And so in the current system, without a listing agent, as far as I know, sellers don't do as well. If you flip that, if you don't have buyer's agent, I have a hard time believing that the buyers are going to do better. That's what's missing in this lawsuit. Like I said, the defense counsels need to bring the buyers and ask them and counter exam or whatever that they call it. One thing I want to point out is that buyer's agent's role isn't really like just finding the homes anymore. To be honest with you, my buyers, they know about listings before me because they have access to Zillow, Redfin. And they ask me, hey, Sean, what do you think about this listing? And I look at it and I go, oh yeah, I like that. Oh, that's on busy road. I'm not sure about the stairs in the front. That has like a commercial zone in the back, so it's going to have some resale value issue. It's too close to the highway. I don't know about the air quality. Those are the things that I share. And if those are like 80% okay, then we go out and see. So I'm not just saving time for buyers. I should write that down because that's one of the benefits. Time is money, right? And so that's where I think the buyer's agent's real value is. Finding a property like in the olden days when there's like closed book on MLS listing, only the agents can show you homes, that time is gone. So right now, buyers actually see first before the agent a lot of times, in my case. Sometimes I forward some listings here and there for some unique buyers. But the current lawsuit only focuses on buyer's agent bringing the listings to the buyers. And so because of the internet, we don't need the buyer's agent to find the listings of the buyers. They're focusing in on that, which I think it doesn't have much value anymore. It's really the local knowledge, the price negotiation, the market knowledge, and one-to-one negotiation tactics to save more money for the buyers is where it's at. That's where the value is for the buyer's agent. So in a sense that this lawsuit is pointing out, putting more burdens on the buyers, because buyers have to know a lot more, because buyer's agent's job will go away. So they have to represent themselves, meaning they have to know a lot more about things. But the thing is, in my opinion, in the free market, when the buyers have a hard time buying, the less buyers can afford to buy in this case, because they can afford to pay the buyer's agent fee, by the way. If that's the case, that buyer isn't going to be really encouraged to buy. That means slightly demand will go down, and the price will go down as well, as these plaintiffs' wish is like, because they said artificially inflating the price. So it's kind of like within that argument, there's conflict right there. I mean, plaintiffs are bringing the conflict of artificially inflating the price wasn't really beneficial to the seller. That's what it feels like. That's what it looks like, at least. But going back to my point, when the buyers can afford to hire a buyer's agent, their demand will go down slightly or a lot. That means the price will go down. That means sellers will make less money. So in the current system, sellers benefited too because of the higher price, whatever, right? So both sides, the sellers and buyers, have been benefiting in the current system. And as far as I know, all the sellers had the right to say no to the commission. Let me think. If I'm meeting a seller and seller says, I don't want to pay buyer's agent's commission, then would I take that listing? I still might, because I can still make 2.5 or 3% the listing agent's commission. But it will be very challenging in the current system, because most of the buyers come with buyer's agent. Buyer's agent asked me, hey, if those buyer's agents are not, so that means you only have to work, you can only work with the buyers without buyer's agents, unless those buyers pay their agents themselves. But then how many buyers can afford to pay their own agents? Buyers, you have to bring in down payment, closing costs. Typically, buyers are cash poor, and for them to pay their buyer's agents, very unlikely, unless they can build into the loan amount, which is the current system. But then how do you prohibit buyer's agent fee? It doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe because I'm so used to the current system, but what they're asking here, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I think I mentioned this earlier, but this is basically a big tech companies try to dismantle the real estate industry so that they can swoop in with a one giant app to dominate the real estate transaction. But the problem is, when it exists, people are going to lose, in my opinion. Companies are going to make a lot of money. People are going to lose. Can I say that if the current system is that? I'm not sure. Yes, seller lost the 2.5% or 3% buyer's agent fee, but at the same time, they benefited from enjoying multiple offers receiving. For example, especially 2020, that this lawsuit is mentioning, the home values went up like easy 10% in most of the markets. So for the seller's point of view, they pay 2.5% to the buyer's agent, but they made about 7.5% more because there were multiple offers. Because most of the buyers work with the buyer's agents, and the listing agent could work with all those buyers and buyers agents. But if you knock out all the buyers with agents, you can only work with the buyers who are not represented. Then would you get them multiple offers, or would you benefit from that? Probably not. So in my opinion, the current system is built based on the free market with protections for both buyers and sellers. In my opinion, in Oregon, contract is very buyer-centric. To protect the buyers, there's many like filtering system and many gates where the buyers are protected. Because buyers have to spend money on inspection in the beginning, they have to put on earnest money. More is there than the damage that the sellers get. So in my opinion, which is the right thing to protect the buyers, but at the same time, you need to protect the sellers too. But if you don't protect the buyers, would sellers just benefit? Again, I don't think that would be the case. And one allegation about very, very uniformly set the buyer's agent thing, which may be the case. It's mostly like, the range is pretty similar. But if you look at the multi-million-dollar homes, I've seen like 1.5% listing, the buyer's agent fee. So it's arguable. Higher price, the lower the fee, it seems. Like $2 million homes, it's not too rare to see 2%, sort of 2.5% or 3.5% type of things. And it's kind of like asking like landscaping companies, or handyman companies. Like we don't go after them and say, hey, how can you guys all agree on like hourly rate? Like handyman can range from $50 to $150 an hour type of thing. And there's no like a lawsuit saying, hey, how can you all get more than $50 an hour? We haven't seen that. We haven't seen that kind of lawsuit. We don't go after attorneys and say, hey, how can you all charge like $250 an hour? That seems so unreal. You're all overpaid. We don't see that. So it's like free market determined by the supply and demand and the benefits that both sides get. Each side get is where it's at. One thing that I have to disagree with NAR on this one is that the voluntary association membership. That's not true. Because if it's a voluntary, meaning that you have an option to join NAR or the local associations or not. But if you don't join, in the reality, you can't do your job because you cannot get the MLS access. So that's the one part that I think it's not correct of the defendant saying that it is a voluntary to join NAR. No, it's not. So that's one part that I don't agree with defendants. The other thing I want to look at is the brokerage model. And I think brokerage model is where it needs to change quite a bit. Because it is true that about 25 years ago, when we didn't have the internet access, it was based on the MLS book. That's before my time. But basically, these brokerages will have a book of listings that you share with your own brokers and other brokers, and it has to be done by the book. So it's very manual. I could see the workload was a lot heavier than now. Now the internet is like lifting all those burdens so that everybody can see the listings, everybody can share the listings. So I think the brokerage model, the benefit that they provide as a brokerage to the broker, that needs to change because it's a different era. And I could see the brokerages being kind of greedy to their own brokers. You either have to offer more services to brokers or lower the fee. And so there's new brokerages, like internet-based brokerages without brick and mortar buildings. They charge less. But other companies like mine, I want to provide more. So you have the price right here. The brokers have to pay. Some will charge less and provide what's been provided, or you will charge the same, but you offer more and you bring that up on the fee side because you offer more. And I think it has to happen one way or the other. Now, it ultimately boils down to, in my opinion, what kind of system is going to protect the consumers the most. I think that's the most important thing, really. In this case, the plaintiffs are saying that this is the way to protect the sellers, but then there has to be balance, right? So there has to be a system that can protect the buyers too, because it's really what we do is consumer protection more than anything. That's how I approach my job. When I represent my buyers or when I represent my sellers, how can I protect them the best possible way? Like I would for my own uncle, my mom, my brother. That's how I approach my job. And a lawsuit like this, it should be, resulted in protecting more consumers. And right now, this lawsuit is only about to protect the sellers on the surface, but in my opinion, in the deep down, it's to protect or give opportunity to the big tech that is going to, conversely, more likely, the consumers will lose, because consumers' data that these big tech share, that's where the consumers lose. Right now, like showing time, I think Zillow bought that recently. When you go into a property, they're trying to get all the data, how long the consumers are staying in living room. They want that data, which is privacy issue, in my opinion. And I think I just heard that the follow-up boss, which is the client database management system called the CRM, that is bought by Zillow as well. And so what that means is that if you've been working with the realtors who have the follow-up boss as the database program, there's a good chance that your personal data may be sold to Zillow. I don't know exactly what their agreements are like, but I just don't like sharing my client's data with somebody else. In this case, if I'm an agent, I wouldn't even use follow-up boss, in my opinion, because I don't want to jeopardize my client's data with some big giant tech company who's been unfair to the brokers in the past. I've actually caught them putting my face, my name with somebody else's phone number. I caught that. I gave them a call, and I had that incident. And so, do I trust Zillow as the big tech company? No, I don't. They manipulate things. I'm talking about the website, not the brokerage, local brokerages, but the main website have not been honest, in my opinion, because they use my face, my listing, my name, and then put somebody else's phone number below it. Anyways, that's a whole other matter. But going back to the lawsuit, it's really about the consumer protection, in my opinion. And they'll have to come out with servicing both sellers and buyers. And I'll end this video with this. If I go to Florida, where I don't know anything about their market, value, neighborhood, what kind of repairs, what kind of local laws, the property disclosure inspection time frame, what kind of market condition, where to save money. I don't have any of that information. So if I go buy a property in Florida, me as a licensed agent, I'm going to hire a good agent in Florida, because that agent is going to save me money, save me time, save me any future resale issue by not overpaying, get me the right deal. There's so many benefits. In my opinion, I would even hire other agent if I'm buying in Florida. If a new rule comes in and say buyer's agents are prohibited, I would still hire the buyer's agent as long as I can put the cost into the loan. Because I believe a good buyer's agent will save you more than 2.5%. So let's say if I bought a $500,000 home, 2.5% is like what, 12,000 or whatever. And my belief is that my buyer's agent, good agent, will save me probably 3, 4, 5, 6%. So I don't mind paying 2.5% to the buyer's agent as long as I don't have to bring up with the cash, as long as I can put that into the loan. So that's really it boils down to, in my opinion. Buyers want the buyer's agent or not. If so, they cannot make it illegal to have a buyer's agent, first of all. If so, there has to be a system this buyer's agent can be compensated by somebody. And so I will end on that. I'll make a more comprehensive video. I cover quite a bit on this video, surprisingly, but I'll try to make more concise, more edited version so you can get more value out of same length of videos. But thanks for watching this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.